body bags where horror lies.
Now take my bitch. She won't complain about shit cause she's my hoe. She don't belong to a trick, so when you fuck her and give her all your cash, I get paid. I put my foot in her ass, I won't marry the bitch and give her half, I get mohead. And then I laugh at that one bitch shit. I got a gang of hoes, I get freak ass lick these balls and toes.
Now stupid little bitches get tossed if they don't realize that I'm the motherfucking boss. Come on down and get your ass pinched. And if you talk shit, get your ass lynched. Cause I'm the B, the I, the T, the C, the...
Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to week 54 here on Body Bags. I am your host Moodz616, and thank you once again for dropping in, guys, on this Sunday. Alrighty, yeah, week 54, and it is Revenge Week. Picked by Danny. Now, there's some really interesting reviews this week. People all over the place. Matt's from You and Your Horror Movies reviewed Orca, which is a fucking animal revenge film. I think that's quite brilliant. Laura did Thinner. Some really cool choices this week all over the place. And with that said, Danny had said that we don't have to, it doesn't have to be rape revenge. Of course, I had to, break that mold of the previous 6 reviews and review a rape revenge film. Originally, I wasn't going to, but then I saw this one. Had to grab it. It sounded interesting. It's a U.S.-Australian film. I think it's more or less an Australian production. And it's called Tomboys. I'm not actually 100% sure. I think it's like 08 or 09 is when it came out. Yeah, with that said, this is it's all Aussie actors in the film, so. But, yeah, so getting into the plot of this one, I don't really want to say a whole lot about it, but it basically opens up with 5 girls who have kidnapped this rapist, and they brought him to this barn, this secluded barn, to basically, seek revenge on him because of his acts. He's, basically raped one of the girls in the group, and now they're there to, seek out the revenge on this poor guy. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the plot on this one. Now, your lead character in the film, played by Candice Day. Candice Day is basically the leader of these 5 girls. She does a fucking brilliant job in this movie with her acting. It's actually quite believable. A lot of the dialogue is delivered like how it probably should be, very emotional and stuff, because she's quite pissed off, and, with the fact that of what's happened to her, and stuff like that. Now, with such a plain and simple narrative, you think the story would be open and shut right away. That's not really the case in this film. It kind of takes twists and turns right away. The film runs about 82 minutes, so it gets into it right away. And the twists and turns allows the other characters in the film to kind of, present themselves as like a main character also, with their stories and stuff like that, and, what's going on. I think that was an interesting structure to the film, because you get about 10 minutes of the film and you're kind of going, okay, where's this going? And then the first twist happens and you're like, oh, okay. Makes a little bit of sense. Now, some people might actually say that it's a little predictable, just the way it's kind of happening and stuff. But in my opinion, kind of what goes on throughout the rest of the film, it sets it up actually quite nicely and stuff. With the revenge in this film, now I have to say that some of the parts are pretty fucking nasty. It's probably not the most nasty stuff you've ever seen in a film, but there is some parts that'll make a guy squirm. It's 5 girls acting out revenge on, guys, and stuff like that. So you kind of know what's coming a little bit, but it's still nasty to watch. I will admit it was pretty fucking nasty. So, throughout the film, I think the dialogue, there is times where I think it suffers a little bit with a couple of the characters, but I think the emotion is there. I think it's decently written. This is one of those contained horror films, which apparently is like a new term. So it all takes place in the barn. Like, the whole movie is in one place, which is very interesting. It's very dark in tone and it's also very dark in look too. This movie's really, really dark. It makes sense because they don't really have a lot of lights in the barn, so what you see is what you get, kind of. I really do like that. I think some people might be thrown off by the look of the film, especially being on Blu-ray and stuff. I can't even tell if the Blu-ray actually even looks that good because it is so dark. But it's not dark enough that you can't see what's going on. It's just, you know, the whole tone and the atmosphere just feels really, really dark because of the way it's shot. But like I said, man, I think the girls do a pretty decent job in this film. Candace Day just blows away her performance, which kind of leads me up until the end of the film. Of course, this is 5 girls acting revenge out on guys. I don't want to sound sexist or, just plain out retarded, but, sometimes girls, when they get together, they don't make the best of decisions. And that's kind of the case in this film. I think some of the decisions that are made towards the end of the film are probably what would really happen. But it's frustrating to watch because they don't really benefit anybody at all. They just make those rash decisions, and you're going, why the fuck would you ever do that? It's not going to benefit you. It's going to hurt everybody. I just don't really fucking get it. And now the very end of the film, which I will not give away, but I'm not even 100% sure how I feel about it, because it's really, I think it could be taken as a cop-out, or it could be taken as a really, really brilliant ending. But at the same time, when you really think about the events leading up to it, and the things that have happened, and all the twists and stuff, and the stories that you've heard and whatnot, I think more people are probably going to lean towards a cop-out a little bit, which really does suck, because it does kind of hurt the film. I mentioned before, it runs about 82 minutes. There is a couple moments in the film, I think, that are kind of dragged out a little bit, but overall, it's a pretty quick watch, and it's pretty decently entertaining. If you like these, these contained horror films, you might enjoy this. I think the major problem with this movie is that the rape isn't shown in the film, which is kind of unsettling to me, because you're just kind of basically taking the words, taking the girl's words for what's going on. But I mean, you do obviously assume that they're not lying either, but I don't know, man. It did kind of bug me that it was never shown. And you learn that right away, because like the opening scene is them dragging this body into this barn. So yeah, I'm not really too sure how I feel about that in the ending. I think it hurts the film dramatically, but I think for a very low budget type film, I think it's actually pretty well done. Like I said, in writing and creating that kind of nasty tone, and made me squirm a couple times. So not so bad, not so bad. I am going to give this one a pass. I'm probably just going to give it about a 6 out of 10. Like I said, those two things really fucking hurt the film for me, but I do kind of loosely recommend it. I think, some people might get some enjoyment out of this and might find that those things aren't as, hurtful to the film as I found them, but I know you can find this movie for dirt cheap. I picked up this Blu-ray for $3, brand new. So it was actually $4 cheaper than the DVD, which I don't know why, but anyways, guys, Tomboys from 2009, it says on here, so definitely check that out. If you're interested in that, like I said, it could be hit and miss with some people, but I got some enjoyment out of it anyways. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for week 54 here on Body Bags. We'll be back next week. I actually cannot remember what the theme is, so not even going to lie. But anyways, guys, I'll see you then on Sunday. Peace out.